Okay, so I'm going to try to make the different process. One of the problems I think I've been having on this mold is that on this structure here, it's really detailed. Like there's lots of little holes and crevices for stuff to fall into. And I'm thinking that as it's rotating like this, that all those little areas are causing bubbles as it rolls over that area. So what I'm thinking about doing is going ahead and sort of coating this area with some fast curing silicone, and only have it in this little area and let that dry, and then then put in my material later. So I'm going to give that a shot. Put it like that. I'm not going to put it in my roto casting machine until I got all these areas smoothed out. Another thing I'm going to use is this little syringe. Basically, this has got one of these attachments, for like a what do you call this? This is a I don't know. Anyway, this is what I'm using. I cut this bit off. This is a syringe I've used before, but usually I just sort of cut off this little ring, and then but I thought that I might be able to get a little closer with, or a little bit into the smaller areas with this guy. So that's what I'm going to be using, and hopefully I can get in all the areas that need to. Using this accelerator makes this stuff like, I don't know, sort of toothpaste. It's been about, since I started mixing, it's been about 15 minutes. But this stuff is kind of gooey right now. And but as far as I can tell is that this thing is not, I think hopefully that this will be all covered area, the smooth areas. Hopefully that the material, once I put it in there and then put it in my rotoscoping machine, or rotocasting machine, will be able to smooth everything out and get the feel that I want. Anyway, trying again. So the test that I did that came out today was a total failure. It was way too thin. There was bits and pieces of it falling apart. So putting in a small amount of material is not the answer. So I am coming up with another plan. My plan is to use this solid one and cut a piece of it to block the area in the mold so that it only fills up, say, this part. Let that dry, and then we'll take that little blocker out and then do this part. So my goal is to stop this choke point that's right here. I don't know if you can sort of see that, but basically it's only about 1/4 of an inch of area that the material can flow through. So if we take out the choke point, I think that we might be able to make that work. So that's the plan right now. Okay, so I have cut my model in half, and I have this sort of little barrier here. And what I plan on doing is putting a little bit of this material in here, and then put the other half on, and then do the roto casting, and hopefully it will only fill up this area and give us the kind of feel that I'm looking for. Then when that's done, tomorrow, I'll take this piece out, and then we'll do this other part. So hopefully we'll get that done. Okay, now I've filled up this little syringe of material. I'm going to come down in here and inject. Pull it out as I go. Pull it out as I go. Inject down here. These are all spots that are hard to get to. And I believe we'll have bubbles in them over time. Alright. I have left to these other areas. For the rest of the material. Yeah, a little bit. Now, I've got that in place. Put the two halves together. And put it in my machine. One thing I noticed that when I crank down my mold, that it doesn't sit well. It sort of does a kind of offset, so I'm not going to try to crank it down as much. But I also don't want it to slide around. So I put a little mold release on my little walking wall. Go that way. All right. Okay, so my little experiment with the little wall turned out bad. The kind of material I put in there was way too light, and it just sort of fell apart. The other thing is that even though I sprayed this down with the mold release, it still stuck super hard, and it really was really difficult. I mean, you can see there where it was, but it didn't work out. So I'm going to go ahead and try a full size casting. I'm not going to make a hole in it and pour stuff in. I'm going to fill it up as much as I can and then go with that. So we'll see how that works and get on it. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes since I started mixing, and I've got this to where it is barely doing any kind of bubbles. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this syringe, maybe give you some syringe, and I'm going to try to fill it up with some material. Well, so, now, we're going to get that will work out. Happy about it. But there's always mistakes when you're trying to experiment. Things that can go wrong. Right? Okay, so this mold is one that spilled. I'm just going to go ahead and see how it turned out. Alright, so it's another prototype. That's I don't know. I think I probably need to redo this one also. I was not very happy with how it had poured out nearly a third of the material. My goal is to get it to where it's a lot of the materials in there. So this mold has a lot of really thin spots in it. And maybe I'm just using the totally wrong material to begin with. So I think that might be a big factor in the problems I've been having with this rotocasting machine and these molds. I might try to go with like a polyurethane or something that cures differently. This cures using using tin, and the tin cure basically will harden, basically at its own speed. And so, like, if there's big globs inside globbing around, then it will dry with those big globs, and that's essentially what I'm having the trouble here. So I think all the detail worked out where it needs to be, but once again, we have little bubbles in small little areas. I think it probably could be used as a demonstration device, demonstration model. It's not the way I want it. I know I'm kind of a perfectionist that way, but I think it should be right. Mike, what do you think?
I think it's getting better, don't you?
Yeah, it's better. But, we had such a big problem with the mold not, pouring out a lot of the material. But I think getting more material in there, I think we'll do a better job.
Yeah, no, you just have some thin spots.
Yeah.
Just, find them. Yeah, no, which you gonna pour again and not spill it this time.
Yeah.
I think that's all you
Oh, we on camera?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that, Rick. Take time.
Okay, so I have ordered some silicone thinner, and I'm hoping that this stuff mixed with my other thick stuff will get it done. So, I think I've shown you before that the stuff I have, which is this Mold Max 27T stuff, that's the ratio. They call it 30,000 CPS. That means that the viscosity is like honey or thicker than honey. So my hope is by using this stuff that we'll be able to thin out the material and that it will coat evenly on the inside the mold. So the other thing I ordered is some white and some brown pigment, because that's mainly, what this, dark material is. So, the original was this color. So my recent attempt was this color, and you can sort of see the difference. But I'm sort of going for this color. So let's see. Apples to apples here. Trying to go for that color, which is kind of fleshy, but I don't really want it that fleshy. Anyway, so that's what I'm going for. I'm going to mix up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to probably fill up this. I'm going to fill up this side and get everything where it needs to go in small little areas, and then that should be enough material to carry the material all the way around. So that's what I'm going for. But you need to mix up the material first and get it degassed on my degasser over there, and then we'll get it done. And I will see you on the flip side. Mix this in. I have about I think I got about 6 or 7 ounces inside the mold, and I'm ready to start. So now it's rotocasting, and we'll come back in about 36 hours, and we'll see where it is. Okay, it's time to take it out of the device, and we're going to open it up, see what it looks like. Yeah. Over there. Still kind of gooey there. Got an opening right there. That's not good. Opening right there too. A lot of these spots right here, these thin spots, can be turned into openings. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and try to get even more thinner in the materials. I think that it will be able to flow better. I think one of the problems I had with this material is that it globbed up in certain areas, especially where there was a choke in the areas that. So it was hard here, and hard here. I think about using less material and more thinner will solve our problem. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in these tiny little holes and then just put the material in here and then let it set up, cover it over and then set it on various sides, and hopefully that will get the material everywhere it needs to go. And then I'm going to put it in the rotocasting machine and we'll go from there. So hopefully pray that it works. Alright. Now, stick it together. All sealed. Rubber bands on it. A suggestion of one of my friends, he said that I should go ahead and just let it roll through these various areas. So, it's going through the motions now. I got a fair amount of pigment mixed up, and see how this looks tomorrow at about 5 o'clock. I'll go ahead and stop it after it's cured, and then we'll probably have to open it up on Monday. So we'll see you then. Okay, so it has been just about 24 hours, and we're gonna pull the mold out and take a look. I keep on saying mold. It's actually I'm gonna pull out cast. This material is all set up. Just sort of set up on the inside here. And when I can sort of pull it out, make sure that it's set up all the way. Did. So add that to my stuff. So you can sort of see the difference in the color in this material compared to the other materials. But I'm going to go with that color right now. Alright. Let's see what we got. Doesn't look good so far. Oh man. Well, doesn't look good at all. Looks like it was not enough material. But it's very interesting. Has just a tiny bit of material down here. I mean, it's like collected a big knot right here, a big knot here, but it's pretty well covered in all the other areas. I mean, but it's not the thickness we really need it to be, and there's lots of air bubbles. But
actually,
I mean, it's not tremendously bad. It's just, but it's, I mean,
no, I think you're going in the right direction now.
yeah. But I'm pleased that there's no knots all the way through here.
Yeah. I'm wondering if you poured it in half. I'm wondering what would happen if you do the other like a quarter.
Yeah, if I do like a little bit more, I'm wondering if it will just collect more down in here.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm using a mixture of my normal Moldmax 27T with this thinner, 7% of it, and we'll see how that does on this one. Okay, so here's the mold. I'm going to open it up for you. So I'm going to open up this mold and see how it turned out. I put the 8% in this thinner, and we're We're going to see if it does any better. If this doesn't work, I don't know what to do. We're going to probably have to ask some more professionals and experts on the material if this doesn't work, because this is for my last try. All right. Okay, so from what I can see, there's a lot of material right here and here, but it has some good feel right here. It's broken. There's a hole right there. Pretty strong in this section. Strong all the way down here. If this was hard all the way through, I don't think I would be opposed to having it feel like that. I mean, because this material is, I mean, it's sort of rubbery anyway, so I don't know. I think I might just go ahead and make a solid one and see what it feels that does. All the little bits and pieces are all filled out, so I mean, I feel pretty good about that. But I think see what Mike thinks. I mean, I feel that some of those areas are.
Yeah, and this doesn't feel, it feels okay.
But imagine if that was totally solid, you know?
Right.
It's rubber enough that it doesn't really necessarily need to be rubber.
Yeah, I think I'm with you to try one that's solid and then see, but before trying to pour this, the way we're following the same process. Yes. So I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, you know, we're still dealing with the fact that the material's collecting in pockets, like, you know, right here and here, basically. Sure.
Some parts of it just feel perfect.
I know.
And then you find it's like, well, why couldn't you just keep? Yeah.
But I think maybe because, you know, if it was a perfect ball, you know, I think it would have been turned out fine. But since this is kind of all weird shaped and whatnot. Okay, so what we decided to do is to go ahead and try a full model. Is fill it up as much as we can, all the places, put it together, wrap the rubber bands around it, and then use this little funnel. This is where my little screw hole was, and I'm going to go ahead and pour material in here and fill up it as much as I can to the point where it will stop going down. And this is going to be the material that will be very thin. So we're going to go ahead and make a full solid model and see how that feels and make sure that it does okay, and we'll go from there. We're going to check out this mold now that it's been sitting. It's been about 24 hours and a little bit longer than that. We're going to go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like. So Mike, why don't you come over here and alright, so I'm going to try to open it up towards you. So see, oh, that was not good at all. Look at that. Look how big of a hole. I thought there was going to be solid all the way up, but look how this is totally not a big opening all the way through here. So clearly this needs to be a totally different process. So that was not enough material to fill in that whole area. All right, you can stop recording. Okay, so what our problem is now is that we're going to go ahead and pour it like it's a real mold, like I did before. But in order to do that, we found out that this hole right here was too small and wouldn't let all the air escape out of the cast. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is what the mold happened. Now, it's nice and solid up here, but there was all this material, all this hole here that could not escape the tiny little hole, which is about a 1/4 inch, I'm going to go ahead and cut a much deeper, wider hole, and also make it into kind of a, I don't know, kind of like a sphere. So possibly we might be able to use that when it's filled all the way up to the top to possibly plug it if we want to do the rotocasting again. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and mix up enough material to put in there and fill it all the way up. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this out first. Now when we put the two together, it has about that size. So we have kind of a channel cut on both sides there, so when that fills up, basically a finger size hole. I might try to cut that a little bit bigger, but I think that might work. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and pour this material in here. I've already sort of pre-loaded. A little V here. Start pouring. I'm going to go ahead and put my this on here. Start giving it some vibration. Looks like we need some more in. Looks like it's about down to here. Bubbles coming up. See that? So we see down in the center there. It looks like it's still down here. Over a little bit, see if I can get some bubbles out. Put it on this side. Get some bubbles out. And we'll just set that next to the vacuum and see if we can get it to bubble up some. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take the mold apart and see how our model did. Everything closer. Move it closer so you can see what I'm seeing. Alright, let's bring this down a little bit. Alright. So, go ahead. Everything is all set up. I'm going to cover bands. All right. Plug that I made. Far so good. good. There you go. Nice, solid model. Alright, so I'm happy with that. We have a nice solid model, and it's very squishy because of the material I'm using, hopefully. And it's got a good amount of tear strength, so it's not going to tear off right away. And we'll see how that does over time. Alright, one down. So this is actually the plug where I was talking about. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off now. Basically, this part I'm going to sort of cut off because that belongs to the model. Alright, everything all trimmed off. That's the model that we have been working on. All the details there, no bubbles. That's what I like to see.